Hello, welcome to the Early Bird Library. My name's Madison. This was my first video on here. I attempted to upload a few times, but adulting life gets in the way of scheduling videos. I will be sharing my very ambitious August TBR. I'll be involved in 3 readathons, but one of them I am keeping very flexible and kind of like a mood read. And so I will be participating in the Cat Lady Readathon, the Magical Readathon, and my sister, which I will share her channel over here, is hosting a Nicholas Sparks Readathon. So the Nicholas Sparks Readathon, I'm just going to keep the book completely open for mood just because the Magical Readathon is going to have a lot of required reading as well, and I'm finishing up my last 2 weeks of my first quarter in graduate school, and then at the end of the month I'll be starting student teaching. So that's partly why I'm saying this is very ambitious. So I'm going to start with my Cat Lady Readathon picks. The Cat Lady Readathon is hosted by Liene, which I will share right here, and it's going to take place on August 12th and August 13th, and I'm going to have to prep my homework in advance because I have 3 essays due on August 14th, and I want to participate and not have to worry and stress about homework. So the first book that I plan to read is the Plum Crazy manga. I borrowed those from my library, but I'll insert photos here. I only have 1, 3, and 4. I don't know what happened to number 2, but in the last Cat Lady Readathon in the fall of 2022, I read 1 and 2, and so I wanted to reread 1 and 2 and then the whole series, because from some retailers I looked online, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you can't buy them anymore, but luckily my library has them and I really enjoyed it. The second book that I got, and I believe it was a new release, but I bought it at my local bookstore. It's the Days, I can't read via my phone, Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, and then there's a little cat right there. And then I borrowed from the library on my Kindle from the Libby app, Warriors 1, 2, and 3. It's all in a bundle, and I'll share right here. I never got around to reading those as a kid at my local library just because there were so many holds, and by the time it was my turn, I outgrew it in the face. So that's going to be my Cat Lady Readathon. This one's like a very short one, so I'm just planning as a priority to get the Plum Crazy mangas as well as this bookshop book, and then the Warriors are just going to be extra. With school and everything, I just don't want to stress myself out and get into a reading slump. And so I also plan to do the bingo card, and so I'm going to insert the bingo card here, and if you want to join, you can absolutely do so. The only prerequisite is read books about cats or cats on the cover. It's a pretty easy readathon, and I always try to participate whenever it is hosted because I am a cat mom. And so my cat's birthday was just on the 2nd, so I thought it's my cat's birthday month, I should participate. Now, this is going to be the heftiest readathon of them all, the Autumn Equinox of the Magical Readathon, and this is my first time participating. Now, the autumn is always like exam season, but I chose to participate in August because in the spring I'll be student teaching and juggling grad school, so it might, with my commitment right now, I'm only in graduate school, so it would actually be easier for me. I don't know if I would love to participate in the spring, but with time I have no idea, and I have to do various exams for state certifications, so yeah. So I created a character, and her name is Raylan, and she is an elf, and we're going to be in the Novus because we're brand new. We came from an urban city, And we are from Erythia, if I am pronouncing that correctly. The guild we are in is the House of the Arcane, Science of Magic. And so I don't like science at all, but my character does. And so I'm gonna embrace it to see if I like science more as an adult versus a kid, because science was like my worst subject as a kid. My unique cult duck, or like assistants in like weapons, kind of like Harry Potter and the wand, is an orb and crystals, and I did a wand. So I ultimately chose an orb and a wand. My calling or career is a Feywild choreographer. I am struggling with that word, but I've always loved geography, and so that is what I plan to do as a calling. And so then with your calling, you have a syllabus. So it's kind of like university, where you're preparing to do your career and your masters. So I will go over those, and I have a lot of O's compared to others. So like other callings had like 12 books this month. I have quite a few, but not as many as 12. So with my calling as a Feywild choreographer, I cannot pronounce that. I need to practice. I have to do an O in elemental studies, O in animal studies, O in astronomy, O in alchemy, Q in inscription, and O in demonology. And so I'm going to be sharing my TBR. Most of these, the goal was to read from my bookshelf that you see behind me and you can see some K-pop. But I ended up borrowing from the Libby app just to fit all of these titles, because I didn't have any. So a few years ago, I cleaned out my childhood bookshelves I haven't read in like years because of adulting and college and working. And I'm just now getting back into reading. Like I would say back in fall of 2022 was when I got back really into reading. I'm still kind of getting back into reading, like slowly. So for the O in elemental studies, a book with the word earth in the title. So I have this on the Kindle, and it's from Libby, and it's The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, or Follett, however you pronounce it. I've never heard anything from this author. I was just looking for earth in the title, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this on BookTube, and I'm just taking this as an opportunity to learn about new authors, because I find myself gravitating towards the popular books of BookTube all the time, and I feel like those authors who are not on BookTube also need to be represented as well. I have an O in animal studies, and I'll insert the video that I got of my sister's cat Mabel choosing. We got 3 books here. Mabel gets to choose one. Excuse the mess. Mabel, come over here. Girlie, choose a book. Or my clothes. I think this is a fail. Oh. Which one do you think she chose? Okay. Furies of Coltrane. Yep, she keeps sniffing it. And of course she has to choose the thickest book of them all, but it's The Furies of the Coltrane, and I do have a physical copy. I also took the audiobook just to save me on time between my studies, taking exams, as well as student teaching in the fall. Oh, in astronomy, a word in the title from the song you last listened to. I listened to the Taylor Swift version of the song with Emma. I forgot the name of it, and I'll insert a screenshot here. But the book that I borrowed again from Libby is Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker. Now, again, I haven't heard much about this book, but I kind of just went crazy on the Libby app just to fit all these prompts. and I'm hoping I can find the time to read them all before I have to return them. And so the O in Alchemy, first in a series. So I had the Daughter of the Moon Goddess originally written on here, but I've changed it to Eragon just because I want to read the book. I've only ever read Eragon in the Inheritance cycle, and Disney acquired the licensing to make a show in the Inheritance cycle, and then the author is releasing a new book. And so I haven't read that book in years, and I have it on my Kindle. And then this kind of leads into the queue for inscription, where it says, "Oh, a book from the end of the year TBR." I'm just gonna put Eldest, the second book, because I really want to read that book for the first time. I've attempted multiple times, but I think as a child, school just got in the way. And so that's leads into the inscription, the book at the end of the year TBR, because those kind of just bundle as well. And then I need a queue for inscription, so the other TBR prompt is a book with a shield on the cover or shield on the title. And I chose Shielded by Kaylin Flanders, and that's the first book that I started to read. I started to read it on August 1st. And so far, I'm only 26 pages in. It's really reminding me of Six Crimson Cranes. And the intro is it's YA fantasy. And I don't know if I'm falling out of YA fantasy because I've read it for a few years. And then in Demonology, a book you first saw on Bookish social media. So the prompt said Goodreads or BookTube, but I put Bookish social media. And it's a show by two, and I think this is the book that I'm really dreading to read, and I also borrowed that from Libby because I'm not a huge contemporary fan. I was in high school, but I gravitate towards more fantasy. But who knows, I might read it because there's a lot of fantasy books on here right now. And then I decided to be still ambitious. I had some supplementary licenses. Now, everything that I mentioned, those are required to be the fake cartographer. I am butchering the fake geographer. We'll say that. I don't know if I'm going to read all those because some of those are really hefty books. But I think my priority is going to be these supplementary courses. And I just chose one today. I was rereading all the magical readathons. So this is August 5th that I'm filming it. But I prepared this all last weekend. And then graduate school's just been kicking my butt with finals week that I'm just now getting to film it. But I want to do the dragon writing license. And for this one, I want to read the rest of the books in the Eragon series. Because the prompts are read 2 books with dragons in them. So my goal is before things get really crazy where I have to balance student teaching and graduate school classes, is to finish that series before the new book comes out, and possibly the show by Disney Plus. We'll see with the strike in the movie production. And so I want to finish that series. I just want to start and finish it this month. And then you have to watch a movie or show, and you only have to do one. But I think I'm going to be ambitious and crazy, and maybe I'll be honors in the dragon writing license. I have Fourth Wing in a question mark because I bought Fourth Wing by my sister, and I'll shout her out in my video and link her channel down below. We're sharing a Fourth Wing copy, so that's a big question mark because I don't want to pressure her to rush and read it. And so I'm just going to put the Inheritance cycle as all my dragon books for the month of August. Now, it says watch a show and movie, so I have, if I can get it, it's on the bottom of my stack here. I have How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2, and then I've never even unboxed it from the wrapping. the third How to Train Your Dragon. And then we also have Disney Plus. We have Raya. And so I'm thinking I might vlog that and just try to do like a dragon themed like month. And then this certificate I just chose today. I really have been wanting to read these books forever. It's called Anthropology. I'll just show you guys. I am like butchering these names and I need to practice. But it says, read 2 books with plants on the cover. And so that's why I changed the moon goddess. So the daughter of the moon goddess has plants on it. And then I also have the Heart of the Sun Warrior. So I've been wanting to read these for months. And I just been like dragging my feet. And so like both of these covers are just gorgeous and they have plants on them. And so that's how I'm planning to read with that license. But the issue is more honkers of a book. So yeah. We will see, but I think I'm going to put the supplementary courses as priority this month, because those are the books that I really want to get to first. So the priority is just going to be reading the Inheritance Cycle, reading the Moon, like this series that I just showed you, and the Cat Lady Readathon, because I just don't want to overwhelm myself, but I also want to strive to see if I can actually do it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to Liene Reads, who hosts the Cat Lady Readathon, as well as BookRoast, who hosts the Magical Readathon. And I'll share like all of my information throughout the video about my character. I had so much fun creating it, and I think this was really fun. I'm just scared of how ambitious I made my TBR, but we all have to be ambitious in all aspects. So thank you so much, and I'll see you again next time.